evening, or actually good afternoon, everyone, because it's definitely not morning. I did get up early this morning, but I had to make a run to work. I had to do a couple things, so yeah. By the time I got back and got settled in, it was close to Bub's feeding time, and of course I didn't want him interrupting this, so went ahead and fed him, got everything else done, and now we're here. Let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? I'm going to go ahead and lay out these cards and remind everyone that this will be the last week, the very last week for the Wasted Lands Kickstarter. It's well up over $10,000 now. I would love to see many of you who are watching right now jump off the fence, get in on this. It's a very ambitious goal. We're trying to get it to 18,000. And if you're looking for a D&D alternative, because Wizards of the Coast and other major companies have gone completely sideways these days, this is going to be the one I think you're going to love the most. And for those of you who are fans of BECMI D&D, which was how it was played in the 80s and part of the 90s, which was Basic, Expert, Companion, Masters, and Immortal, this is going to be as close as it gets, I think, to that system because of how it plays. And the system itself is completely customizable, so yes, you can play it however you want. It's going to be your game. You will play it your way. Let me just adjust this so you get all of the cards right there. I noticed the spirit animal card was cut off, and I don't like that. I really don't. So we're going to do this like a traditional full-scale reading. And guess what? If you want one, you can get one too. It just works like a gift exchange. You get me something, I give back. Simple. If it's not something you want or can afford, that is fine. Just keep enjoying this free content. I have absolutely no problem providing it to you. But if you do, links to the link trees in the description down below. I only have my Amazon wish list. Modifius got removed because obviously they are one of the ones that has gone sideways. They have chosen their customer base, and I wish them all the best. Goodman Games has done the same recently. Needless to say, I will not be updating my PDF. So, and I also won't be purchasing anything further from Goodman Games. I have also stated that. So, it's just one of those things. You know, it happens. Companies go crazy. You notice that a lot lately. A lot of companies have gone completely sideways. Many of them were deemed essential during the lockdowns, and they squandered their 3 years worth of windfall, and now they want to blame you for it. And if you work for them, well, you need to pull together, oh, go team, and all that stuff. Nah, I don't think so. If you weren't wise with that, well then, bud, that's on you. I would say the same for a small company. If you didn't do your good times wisely, you're not going to weather the bad times very easily. Alright, let's get into it on this Woden's or Wednesday, Day of Odin, as you might know it. Starting with us, who are we? You know what? This speaks very loudly to me, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because you, me, and everybody have worked extremely hard for our reward. We have sacrificed. We've put in the work. We've had those dark nights of the soul. We have had to look in the mirror, and we've had to be honest with ourselves. And those of us who were honest with ourselves, we pushed through even some of the crappiest times. We're still going through them, but we deserve better. You know it. I know it. There's no getting around that. Our sacrifices and our hard work, the time that we have spent and spent wisely, it will not go unnoticed. And if it does, then you have to know what you're worth, and you have to be willing to walk on to those who will recognize it. It's very simple, people. We are currently being guided by knowing that our magic works. Let me tell you something right now with this well of weird. Things are actually working in our favor right now. It doesn't seem like it because there are people just going absolutely insane trying to prop up their unsustainable systems and ideas. It's all collapsing around them. And you and I have options. At any time we can get up and walk away. What am I talking about? It's very simple. Especially when it comes to jobs or things that we're doing, people that we're around. Every time that we feel unappreciated, every time that we put our best foot forward and we get nothing in return, we get kicked in the teeth, whether it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Every time that happens, we're being pushed to look at our options. When you've done right by someone else for so long that you're not seeing any kind of return on that, time to do right by yourself. Never neglect yourself. So what are we looking to in nature? We got that wolf again. Time to turn that knowledge into wisdom. We can say hindsight's always 20/20. We can look back and say, well, you know what? I've wasted years with this group, or I've spent so much time with this thing or that thing, and it's just not panning out. Not the way I'd hoped. And I have followed all the rules. I went and I kicked for every moving goalpost there was. And there's always a miss, and someone's always on my back about it. Guess what? This is telling you, in just these 3 cards alone, when nothing you do is good enough, it's time for you to do nothing for those people. Understand? It's time to move on. And let's do. Because in the mind, I've got a Hierophant in reverse, I've got the Moon, and I've also got a 9 of Wands. Isn't that interesting? We've got that 9 of Wands, we've got a Moon, but we also have this Hierophant in reverse. This is not a time to appeal to authority. Letting you know right now. This appeal to authority is a falsehood. And on top of that, you're looking at people who have no actual power. And if they did, they would be able to keep around those who had stuck by them the longest. They would be able to inspire confidence and loyalty. Now, for you, not defying them is going to result in a very, very dark and very scary time. However, there's always the light of the moon to guide you. And though you hear the sounds, though you hear those sort of things that go bump in the night, be sure that you're one of the ones who bumps the hell back. That needs to be the ultimate lesson right now, because the 9 of Wands, sure, you may have been under attack. You may have even been directly opposed, but this was not a hill for you to die on. This was a hill for them to die trying to take. Mentally, you need to be very prepared and very strong right now, and you need to be very assertive. You need to be that guy that no one can fuck with. You need to be that guy or that gal that no one's able to fuck with you. And every time they do, they live to regret it. Make an example of them. Show them for the fools that they are. Physically, got a Knight of Swords in reverse. I got a 6 of Cups here, and I got a 3 of Swords in reverse. So, right now, this quick thinking, I would say, be a little patient. Hold back just a touch. Sometimes you need to, because when you do, it usually yields in some more positive results. And I think for the most part, having your head about you is going to be the best thing to do. So, the thing is, right now, Every new thing you behold compels you further on your quest. Now remember that cold moon, it rises in the east. But you're not going to advance with it. Okay? You are normally pushing the edges of the map. I would say this is the time for a little. This is not really the time to throw caution to the wind.
85681.
One moment.
75280. Call from 85681. 75280.
There. I'm going to leave me alone. So right now is more of a time for caution. This isn't the time to just go running into things. Because when you do, guess what? You're going to be making some very, very poor judgment calls. And poor judgment calls can lead to experience, which can lead to wisdom, but trust me, right now, that's not where you want to go. Remember what the wolf says. It says to turn knowledge, your existing knowledge, into wisdom. So, with the Six of Cups here, you're being told to kind of reflect on some simpler times for yourself. Think of a time when things were simpler. Think of a time when you actually kind of had the world on a string, and remember why you thought that way. This is going to be a time of reflection for you. Having that time of reflection is what's going to give you that pause, because right now everything seems like it's pretty cut and dry, but it's really not as cut and dry as it needs to be. Remember why you sacrificed. Remember why you grew up a little too fast in some areas, and why you need to slow down just a touch. Have that little bit of patience, ladies and gentlemen. That patience is going to be everything to you. But now, with that Three of Swords, you're actually getting away from what's killing you. This is what I call the heartbreak card, but it's in reverse. So this is the point in your life where that which is absolutely harming you, what's bringing you down, what's taxing your patience to no end, where you've tried to right the wrongs and tried to help in many ways. If it's not being listened to, then guess what? Time for you to get out of there. Time for your help to be taken where it'll be appreciated and desired. And that is something you need to take that moment out. You need to take that reflection, and you need to understand there are people who will appreciate those sacrifices. And when they see what you've been through, when they see what experience you bring to the table, they're going to say, okay, this is the person we need on our side right now. This isn't about you taking sides. This is about people taking yours for a change. Okay? Now, spiritually speaking, we do have death. A Three of Pentacles in reverse. And then a Knight of Wands in reverse. Wow. So what is it in your life that needs to pass away? Is it the complacency? I'll bet it is. Sometimes we've got to get out of our comfort level just a bit, Let me tell you a story, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you a story about death here. At one time I worked in a pharmacy. You'll remember that time because I was always bringing you videos 5, sometimes 6 days a week. And I had to cut it back to about maybe 2-3 times a week to about once a week now. That's because, the channel here isn't really making me any money, and I'm not looking to monetize it. So, here's what I did. I was at work. I had a particularly cruddy day at work, and by then, many of the people to whom I answered, I noticed disrespect directed at me was completely allowed. They either ignored it or they had no time to deal with it. So I decided that I was going to start thinking of something else. Pharmacy work was just no longer for me. I also started developing moral and ethical objections to keeping people on a subscription plan in order for them to live when diet and exercise could solve a lot of their problems. Some people need that kind of chemical intervention, I understand, but not everyone. And to keep them on a perpetual cycle of this, to me, was wrong. So, I was looking into some other things, and one day I was out for a grocery run and I decided to stop into a little burger joint just to grab a quick bite to eat. I hadn't had anything all day, I was feeling very hungry, so I decided to stop in and just grab something, quick and on the go, and I found out that the starting pay at this burger joint was the exact same pay I was making at what I was getting perpetually stuck at the drive-through of our pharmacy. Now understand, in order to look up your prescription, go grab it from a bin, ring it up, and then pass it to you, I had to be licensed to do that. Without a license, I could go to this burger joint and work their drive-through, probably have a little less stress, and guess what? Same pay. Same exact dollar amount per hour. Now, I don't know about you, but why would I be going through the extra stress plus licensing for something else I could do with minimal stress? I don't know about you, but I was really thinking about applying to that one. And I actually had the application filled out. I was ready to go until finally I got an offer. I could not get it, but they did offer me something a little bit better at least. So I moved departments. I'm now the photo guy. I have absolutely no morals or ethical objections to helping someone print their memories or commit them to something very cool to look at. None at all. And I got paid a little bit more to do it. I still have that license, but doubt it's ever going to be used. See what I'm saying? I was actually going in the direction of what I felt was my calling as a healer. I found out that was not my function at all. That had to pass away. Unfortunately, it had effects on this channel. Do you see what I'm saying? Sometimes we have to modify certain things in order to get something a little more. So we got the three of coins there, or three of pentacles. I can tell you right now, the three of pentacles looking in reverse. My question to you is this: how are you dealing with working with others right now? Because I can tell you one thing, some of us aren't doing too well with it. So here's the thing, you are not changing your surroundings, are you? You're not playing to your strengths, and that's the problem. If you're playing to your strengths, you would be a lot happier, wouldn't you? But you're not doing that. That could be a real problem for you. If you're not playing to your strengths, no one else is going to do it for you. And that's just fact. Now, right now is not the time to pivot from analysis into action. It's time to pivot from action into analysis. Spiritually speaking, that's what you're being called to do. You know something? I'm actually reading a book, and I have it right here in this bag. I see why the Thane of our tribe tends to take it everywhere with him. In fact, he recommended it, and I picked it up. This book. If you ever wanted to learn the runes just to learn them, this is a great book to do it. I'm not that far into it, but I'm almost halfway there. This book had something in there that I wanted to share with you, because it was so good. I actually have it in my notebook. I need to get that transcribed so I can erase it. Here we go. Okay. So, one of the things that I look for, if you don't have a specific issue in mind, you still feel drawn to consult the rune, simply ask, what do I need to know for my life right now? The Oracle's reply will always be timely and instructive. And that's an appropriate issue to talk about. But here it is. I want to read you this quote. But before I do, there's one more thing. Yes, we have to remember that in the spiritual life we are always at the beginning. Remembering this helps us to overcome our addiction to getting ahead. For when we experience a true present, that's where everything happens. And I want you to listen to this. The truth is that life is hard and dangerous. Those who seek their own happiness do not find it. Those who are weak must suffer. Those who demand love will be disappointed. Those who are greedy will not be fed. Those who seek peace will find strife. That truth is only for the brave. That joy is only for those who do not fear to be alone. And that life is only for the one who is not afraid to die. Very simple wisdom. Now, turn that into something. Take it forward, because this is where you're starting. You're always at a beginning in the spiritual. If you're strong in mind, body, and spirit, you don't have anything to worry about. Let's have a look at another oracle. We've got the Hidden Worlds oracle here. Very beautiful cards. Here it is, right where the moon is front and center. You do have a full moon temple. A dark time, yes, but this is your transcendental moment. This is the moment where you defy all expectations of you. People expect the normal, typical, complacent you. They're getting anything but. Because this is a brand new you. A brand new you can happen at any time. This is where you take the sum total of all of your sacrifices, your knowledge, and your wisdom. You pull it all together. You alchemize all those elements inside you, and you just blast forth. This is not a time for stopping or slowing down. And I know you may be tired, you may be feeling beat up, but now is not the time for slowing down. When you get across that finish line, you can cry, you can tear up a box, you can scream to the winds or howl at the moon in your moon temple. It does not matter. But giving up is not an option right now. Okay? Physically speaking, we do have hidden worlds. Now you have changing consciousness, you have the awareness, and you also have an extrasensory perception that is going to allow you to reach into your intuition and move forward. Start listening to your gut a lot more. It will never lead you wrong. Finally, we have a pathway. Now, in your spiritual life, you have direction, purpose, and change. Nothing comes without change. This is going to be the part where your sacrifices, all those things that you put in there, all what you have put in, you are going to get back. You have to believe that. And you have to be able to turn what you know into something you can convey. I tell people all the time, especially at work, we got 3 4x6 machines, 2 5x7s, and 1 8x10. That means you can do 3 4x6 orders at once. You can do 2 5x7 orders at once, and 1 8x10 order. You can have all of these machines going at once if you know how to prioritize what you have. Finally, the runes, we have Kanaz. That beacon or torch. Seems like we got a lot of light here in the mind. So you have that full moon template. You got a moon right here, that light in the darkness, and you have a torch, the thing that's lighting your way. You already know which direction that you need to go. We have Gabo with the physical. Right now is time to reflect on your gifts. Develop your gifts. Play to your strengths. It's very simple, nothing to it. And then finally, we have Avaz, the horse. This is where you move. You have the light, you have the direction, and you have the way forward. What are you going to do? Are you going to sit there at the fork in the road? Are you going to sit there at the crossroads? You cannot be indecisive in this moment. You have to start making decisions. You have to start making the best decisions to better position yourself so that you can help others, so that you can move forward. And that is the entire reading today, ladies and gentlemen. I know it. We got a heavy dose of reality with a side of piss and vinegar last week. This one is still brutally honest with us. This is holding up the mirror to you and me and saying, it's time to get a good look. You got some wrinkles. You got some scars. You cut yourself shaving last week. Good going. Got a pimple on your nose. Pop that pimple, pop a little styptic powder on that cut, and get back to it. In the words of Ian McShane from Deadwood, when he slapped Jeffrey Jones in one part of the show, slapped him across the face, and Jeffrey Jones exclaimed, "Ah, you hit me." He goes, "Yes, but did you fucking die?" He's like, "Well, no, but it hurt." He goes, "That's what life is. Lots of pain. And every time you experience it, you gotta know that you have a little more life ahead of you and there's always more punishment to come. But you still get the fucking job done." We've gone through it, ladies and gentlemen. But something else you need to know, the world is better with you in it. You want to know how I know? Because you're here. And if nothing else, I love spending time with you. Alright, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to get this thing rolling. I want you to remember a couple of things. Number one, I love you all. I want you to take care of yourselves and each other. I want you to always try to do what lights you up. And then, shine on. Alright, so a little post-credit scene. I don't know if I'm going to put it in or not. I might. You never know. I was actually about to shuffle the, like you saw me shuffle earlier. Excuse me. I was about to shuffle the spirit animal cards, and I found out 3 of the cards from last week had actually made it into the deck. I put them with the wrong deck. So I have to fix that. Now, what cards are they? Well, let me put these away and I will show you. Here we go. You know what? And maybe they'll have some significance for you. I don't know. But just a little bonus thing here. It's so weird. It's so weird these cards were in there. It was a mistake on my part, but guess what? From the Angels and Ancestors deck, I've got a Knight, which tells you to be brave and honest, even with yourself. I've got a Great Teacher here, which tells you learn from some spiritual experience. So reflect on where you've been. You can't know where you're going. You can't know where you are if you don't know where you've been, and if you don't know either of those, you don't know where you're going. And then the Traveler, telling you to move in a new direction. It can't rain all the time. right? Take care. Love you. Bye. Oh yeah, you know, one more thing. One more thing. If you want to bypass the whole getting yourself or someone else a reading, you want to do something for yourself. If you've never played a tabletop role-playing game before, link in the description down below. Go pledge to the new Wastelands. I would say try for a print option. You will get both PDF and print books as well. And guess what? Jason has sweetened the pot just a little bit because it's compatible with the game Night Shift. And you know what that means? He is giving away the 2 books I have been telling everyone about. That's right, giving them away in PDF. Night Shift, Veterans of the Supernatural Wars, and The Night Companion, where you can use the Immortal class. If your character survives the Wasted Lands campaign that you're in, you can port them over to the game Night Shift and have yourself an Immortal character. So, how do you like that? I don't know about you, but I like it a lot. I think it's really cool. So you could go from fantasy all the way to urban modern fantasy and play it any way you want. That system is totally customizable, 100%. Don't be intimidated by the size of the books, ladies and gentlemen. They're pretty easy to understand, easy to read, and I think you'll find them enjoyable, especially if you like the old White Wolf games from the 1990s. And if you're not familiar with them, well, let me tell you, Night Shift is very, very reminiscent of that series, and I think you'll enjoy it. So check it out. Also, on Troll Lord Games, Amazing Adventures is only $10. You can get it for 5th edition, or you can get it as the standalone for that uses the Siege engine. I would actually recommend you get them both. As a matter of fact, you can get 3 more books for like, I think you can get 5 books for like $40. I would say go check it out, and then you'll get Jason, the other 2 Jason worked on, which were the Amazing Adventures, and you'll get 3 5th edition games if you're into 5th edition D&D. So you'll get stuff from Troll Lord Games. You'll be supporting smaller independent creators, and it is Independent Games Month. All right, take care. Talk to you later.